Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Duel Princess, a game that was developed and published by Curate for the Nintendo Switch in early January. But as we found out through a couple of interesting posts by the publisher, it ended up getting removed from the eShop, basically originally in Japan and then a few days later altogether in both the European and North American eShops. As we found out, the zero rating basically in Japan decided that there was some things about the game that they wanted to take another look at and basically removed it altogether from the eShop or forced Nintendo's head from removing it. We don't necessarily know what was the digression there. Curate put out a post stating that the game was going to be removed and they would try to work with Nintendo to get it back in the eShop as early as possible. Now, it's been almost over 5 weeks now since that originally happened, and basically has nothing come from it. But we recently found out, thanks to Curate, that the game is now starting to appear on PC, specifically in a couple of interesting places that you wouldn't necessarily expect, mostly because they're only available in Japan digitally, and these are places that you probably haven't necessarily heard before. The first one is called DS Site. This is a Japanese kind of like Steam type place, and the other one, I guess a little bit more known, is called DMM Games. Again, another storefront where you can purchase digital games for PC, but again, these are only for Japanese audiences. So European and North American players who may be even considering, now that the Switch version is kind of gone, maybe they could try to pick it up on PC. Still not an option because these places are only for Japanese users. The original post that we got from Curate regarding the DS Site update actually basically read that this was going to be distributed by DS Site, and it was going to be the same game that's available on the Nintendo Switch version, and they're hoping to distribute it together to provide players to a brand new opportunity to be able to play the game on PC, which is the very first time that the game is becoming to PC audiences. Then a couple of days later, they made the same type of similar post confirming that the game was coming to DMM Games. Again, this is just in Japan, and it says that the game is now available in DMM Games. This is also the same version that you can find on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the game is about 3,162 yens in both places. The other one's actually 27.88, so about, I want to say, $29 to $25 roughly. DMM Games is cheaper a little bit than DL Site, but other than that, there's no real differences. Again, it's just a digital purchase. You're not going to be seeing a whole heck of a lot of difference there, and they're saying that this is the same one as the Nintendo Switch, so you're not going to be really missing out. Nothing has been gutted is what they're trying to say. Presumably a lot of the discussion was the punish mode was the reason why the game pretty much got pulled from the eShop. That is a lot of the speculation that I've seen posted. This is something that I spoke about in my original video. I'm going to leave a link in the description below going all of the original details from about a month ago when the game was originally pulled. But now, I guess, presumably, we still haven't necessarily gotten any details as to why it hasn't come back to the eShop just yet. If we see any changes and presumably the punish mode being removed, then we'll know for sure that was the reason why Zero, pretty much the ratings board in Japan, decided to pull it. But again, that is just speculation for now. What we do know is that now it's available in DL Site and DMM Games for PC, but again, just for Japan. The game is fully available in English, or was available in English, on the eShop here in North America and in Europe. But again, PC players do not have that freedom just yet, so we are still waiting to see what is going to happen eventually, if the game is going to be coming to PC altogether in English, or if the Switch version is going to be eventually restored and appear on the eShop again. And hopefully we get some answers for that going forward into the near future. One of the things that I did bring up originally was the fact that the game was doing extremely well, especially in the Japanese eShop. I believe it was ranked number 2 just a couple of days after the game originally launched. So presumably because it was garnering attention, because it's from an almost unknown developer that makes kind of like ecchi games in that regard, or publishes ecchi games in that regard, presumably that was something that caught someone's eye, like, hey, what the hell is this all about? And then, the game was selling well enough that it garnered attention from, the ratings board, and then Nintendo had to react because they can't just say no to them. That's just kind of like the way it is, so the ESRB has the same problem, and European ratings boards have the same problem as well. They can just kind of override what any console maker or like storefront owner wants to do. They just kind of have to abide by their rules, and that's just kind of the way it is. So this is just an ongoing situation. I'll be reporting back when the game does finally appear on Switch, or if it finally actually appears on PC in some sort of English fashion. Do not expect this game to appear on Steam. There has been a lot of discussion as to how Curate approached Steam. They wanted to put it there, and they basically just didn't allow the game to appear on Steam. So if you're hoping that Steam, with all their hentai games essentially allowing this game to appear, that's probably not going to happen, because they just didn't allow them before. I don't think they're going to change their mind now. Steam is not necessarily known for being a great place to, you know, curation for like ecchi content or anything like that. They kind of just allow kind of everything there, and for them to like deny this game was like bewildering, to say the least, originally. And then when people saw it coming to Switch, it was like, wow, finally actually Nintendo's gonna allow it. And then Nintendo had to pull it because of Zero. So we're still working this out, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.